Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Carol and Tuesday, episode 7. So yeah, we're here with another episode of this phenomenal show, and I can't wait to see what we've got. Last time we kind of had this big music festival and all, this Coachella-like event. Carol and Tuesday got to play a little bit of a song, not even complete their song, but they got to play a little bit on stage. And they got the attention from a couple performers, one of which is an idol of theirs. So, yeah, very awesome. um, but overall, it wasn't like a huge success for them. Like I said, they didn't even get to finish a single song. But they still went away happy because they got praised by their idol, and they got a hug from her as well. Like, again, I talked about it last time, but I completely understand the sensation of just getting noticed by someone you look up to. It's definitely happened to me on a couple of occasions, so yeah. um, but either way. Um, yeah, I don't know where we're going to go at all. I don't know if we're going to get back into Tuesday's family in any way. I don't know if we're going to have more in regards to Erdogan or Hefner. I just don't know where this is going to go at this point. Because again, we've had the music video attempt, we've had this now with a festival and everything. What's next? We had their first performance. Now, of course, there's plenty more to go through, but I'm just not sure exactly what we're going to get to next and where we're going to go from here. I am very much interested, though. So hopefully whatever we get is going to continue to be as amazing and phenomenal as this series has already been. But I am running low on time because I am going to go see Detective Pikachu today. So I do have to cut this intro, these pre-thoughts short. Not that I had much more to say anyway, but either way, let's get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so let me read you some of the lyrics from the song that this episode is named after, Show Me the Way by Peter Frampton. I wonder how you're feeling. There's ringing in my ears, and no one to relate to except the sea. Who can I believe in? I'm kneeling on the floor. There has to be a force. Who do I phone? The stars are out and shining, but all I really want to know, oh, won't you show me the way? I want you. Show me the way. So, these lyrics of this song are all about having someone beside you to help you through the struggling times, to help you through the ups and the downs of life, someone who can believe in you and someone who you can believe in, someone who is there for you no matter what, someone who you can open up to and who you can trust. And I definitely think that fits this episode. I mean, they're really knocking it out of the park with these songs, hitting the themes of the episode with the theme of the music. Because this song's theme is, as I mentioned, all about connecting, basically, with another person and the deep connections that make our lives worth it. And Carol and Tuesday's connection was really touched on with this episode, especially in that really heartfelt, beautiful scene of them sitting by the water, just talking to each other. And Tuesday relaying her fears, her insecurities, her issues, and the fact that she's been focusing more on herself and her own problems rather than like paying enough attention to Carol and focusing on what makes Carol, what makes her herself. And Carol admits that she's had those issues on occasion too. And they got to talk and they're growing more together. And they're helping each other be able to further themselves. And it's why at the end, Tuesday didn't need the glasses anymore. Why she's able to now just step forward and not worry about the fears that she had about appearing on camera. And I think it's beautiful. It's amazingly wonderful to see that kind of concept brought into here. And obviously, this kind of idea has been done in other shows and movies and games and whatnot. So it's not like it's anything particularly new, or even something that's just not used often. It is used. But the reason it's so effective here is because of these characters. Carol and Tuesday are two characters who we are seeing grow as characters. We're seeing them grow and develop as the series progresses. Because when we started out with the first episode, Carol was very aggressive. I mean, not like super mean or anything, but she was aggressive. She didn't like think things through often. She kind of went with the flow a little too much. While Tuesday was just kind of not knowing what the hell she was doing. She was just kind of just jumping into the deep end without any precaution. And through their relationship, as they've come to know each other, and as they're still getting to know each other, they're growing. Tuesday is becoming more confident, both in herself and in those that she's learned to trust in. While Carol is learning to calm down a bit, to rely on others, and be around people. She came from a shitty situation where she hasn't really had to live around and be with people that much in her life. And now that now that Tuesday is living with Carol, now that she has these good friends in Roddy and even their manager, now that she's getting much more attention and making her dream of music work, Carol is learning that she can rely on other people, that she doesn't have to be so self-sufficient, that being around other people and relying on them is not bad, that codependency is not bad. And it's beautiful. And you could say there's a lot of shipping fuel with Carol and Tuesday in this episode, and there very much is. But I'm not even going to make it about that, surprisingly, this time, even though I obviously do ship them heavily. And definitely, I do still think it's probably headed in that direction. I'm not even going to make it about that this time, because this episode had a lot going for it as it is. So we have this American Idol-like competition called Mars Brightest. You've seen these kinds of shows. It's American Idol, it's X Factor, it's The Voice, it's America's Got Talent. It's those kind of various shows. A singing competition that is like the big epitome of making a star. It's a shortcut, and they admit that in the episode. It is a shortcut. It is an easy way out. But it's something. It is something. It is a way to get noticed, even if you lose. And that's real, and that's true in real life. A lot of artists who have lost or failed in these singing competitions have actually, in a lot of cases, sometimes made it bigger than some of the winners. Chris Daughtry made it pretty big, and he didn't win American Idol. Danny Gokey didn't win, and he's doing fairly well for himself. It's like, yeah, it's not everybody who loses automatically just goes back to the drawing board. So they have a chance at getting noticed through this, even if they don't win. But out of the hundreds of thousands of people that auditioned, only 8 went through. 8. I was trying to hold up my fingers there, like, for a second. It's like, I'm like, no, I can't do that on one hand. Only 8 went through out of hundreds of thousands of people. That's nuts. And Carol and Tuesday were one of the acts that went through, one of the 8 acts. And that's insane. That's huge. We didn't even see their audition. That's even more interesting. Now we've seen them play, we've seen them perform before, but we didn't see their audition at all. It cut away. And I think that's actually a good thing. I don't think we needed to see it. I don't think it was important to show. What's coming up next for them? This competition itself and what they do in terms of going forward as people and through their dreams and everything. That's going to be more important than seeing how they got on the show. Honestly, we knew they were going to get on the show. So we didn't need to see the audition. We didn't need to see the judges liking their performance. That wasn't necessary. It wasn't the point. But they did go out of the way to show a lot of the fun other performances that you see in a lot of these shows. A lot of the ranging from bad to kind of mediocre to actually, I think there was 1 or 2 that were actually fairly okay. So yeah, it's like, I'm glad that they showed that kind of range of performances, of auditions. It's really fun. And actually, funny enough, this is actually really amazing timing because tonight, America's Got Talent starts up again. Like, this is the same day that America's Got Talent starts up again. And that's amazing that it just happened to be this competition on an episode of this show on the same day. That's just phenomenal. That's beautiful. So yeah, that's wonderful in and of itself. But either way, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a nice way to continue on. I hadn't even thought about a competition like this, honestly. When I was trying to think of ways like they would continue this, like there were quite a few ways I could think of, but this wasn't actually one of them, ironically enough, even though I watch these kind of shows. But yeah, so this is a good way to take it. I wonder how this is going to go. Honestly, I'll be completely honest here. I don't expect them to win. I do not expect them to win for one reason or another. Now, one last thing I want to talk about, though, is that Tuesday's mom was brought up again in this episode. She wasn't shown, but she was brought up, and it made a point of how Tuesday was afraid she'd be caught if she appeared on camera and stuff. And now she is just kind of throwing that to the wind and kind of say, like, oh, if something happens, we'll just take it as we go, basically. I'm expecting something to happen. I am expecting Tuesday's mom to catch wind of this and whatever and get involved somehow. So I'm expecting some conflict coming up in the next couple episodes. Now, that doesn't mean it will. It's like I just see that happening based on what we got. Honestly, I'll be a little surprised if it doesn't. But I have trust in this series at this point. This is easily becoming one of my favorite anime of all time. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So, in the meantime, tell me what you thought of this episode down in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,